Well, welcome back to the Retire Strong podcast, a show where we help you to plan well, invest wisely, and live a happy and worry-free retirement. My name is Eric Scoggins. I am your host today. I have my co-pilot with me, the lovely and talented Jaclyn Gladhill. Jaclyn, good morning, and how are you doing today? I love the pink outfit. Looks great. You show me your pink keyboard. I guess you're a pink girl, huh?
Yes. I love pink, and I love that when we even create these scripts, you put me in pink already, Eric. So clearly you already got the memo.
I did.
Um, but I'm good. I'm actually headed to Canada this upcoming weekend, and we're gonna be celebrating Halloween and just some time with some friends. And
Nice.
so yeah, I mean, I'm excited for a little getaway.
Well, everybody deserves a little getaway. And so I hope you have a safe travels, Godspeed, and just, hey, go out and make some great memories with your friends and family.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Eric. And I'm really excited about this topic today. I think, speaking of Halloween, we kind of have a little bit of a scary topic today.
Could be. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
sound effects.
Yes. And today's topic is one that our listeners, constantly ask you about. And so you brought it up that it's a must-have episode. And, Social Security is the topic. But more
Yes.
specifically, we're going to be bringing up 3 costly Social Security mistakes, that happen and how to avoid these. So where are we going to start, Eric?
So yeah, exactly like that. Social Security is the foundation for most Americans' retirement income plan. So, and most people, unfortunately, make decisions based upon when to trigger that income on inaccurate or incomplete information. So there's 3 big mistakes that basically can dramatically reduce the amount of income one receives over their retirement lifetime.
Well, yeah, and we definitely do not want our listeners or viewers to experience that.
No, our goal is to maximize income, not minimize income. So let's talk
Yes.
about mistake number 1. So mistake number 1 is a very common one. It's not taking into consideration and understanding the cost of living adjustments, or COLA, as it's called. So every mid-October, which we just got the numbers in for 2026, Social Security announces what the cost of living increase is going to be for the next year. So for 2026, we're going to have an increase of 2.8%. And so the COLA, it doesn't only impact the people who are drawing their benefits right now, it also impacts those who are going to be taking benefits in the future as well. So when you look at your Social Security statement, it'll show income of what you're going to receive from, say, 62 all the way out to age 70. Well, here's the problem. Those numbers can be wildly inaccurate because they do not include the cost of living adjustments, or COLA.
Mm.
So, Jaclyn, if you're currently 62 and you're looking at your Social Security statement and it says, okay, at 62, you're going to get $2,100 a month. Well, that is a correct number. But if it also says at age 70, you're going to be receiving $3,000 a month, that is not an accurate number because it does not include future cost of living increases.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, how much has the increases been over time?
So yeah, so that's a great question. Obviously, as you're planning to determine, how long I want to delay and things of that nature. But historically, it's been about around 3%. Obviously, we've just come through a really high period of inflation. So over the past 3 years, it's increased by about 4.8%. So, but historically, if you're going to plan, we typically use 3% as a cost of living adjustment when you're talking about Social Security cost of living increases. And honestly, it's kind of like Albert Einstein said, as it related to compound interest. Compound interest, he said, was the 8th wonder of the world, and it truly changes everything.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of numbers that we're throwing out here. And I think, many of our listeners and viewers, numbers can be, overwhelming. We don't really know how to make sense of all of this. And so, Eric, could you kind of walk us through this practically, maybe in a situation or an example?
Yeah, so just real high level, let's just say you're looking at your Social Security statement and it says, hey, at 62, your benefit's going to be $2,100 a month. But if you wait and delay to age 70, that is going to be $3,000 a month. But if benefits rise each year with the cost of living, say by 4% from 62 all the way out to age 70, that $3,000 a month is going to be closer to, say, $4,100 a month. That's over $13,000 a year more income for the rest of your life, and likely equates to probably hundreds of thousands of dollars over your retirement lifetime by taking into fact that COLA adjustment is going to be there.
All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to ask the question.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay.
So I think numbers are very confusing for a lot of our viewers and listeners. Eric, can you kind of walk us through this practically? Maybe give us an example of how, we can digest this.
Absolutely. So a real high level, simple example is let's say someone is 62 right now, and they look at their statement and it says, okay, at 62, you're going to get $2,100 a month. But if you delay it and wait till 70, you're going to receive $3,000 a month. But remember, we have cost of living that's not included on that statement that we don't know what it's going to be. So if we use that average of, say, 4% a year from 62 to 70, that $3,000 benefit, it actually grows and turns into $4,100 a month for the rest of your life. And Jaclyn, that's $13,000, actually more than $13,000 a year. And that over your retirement lifetime could equate to hundreds of thousands of dollars over your retirement lifetime.
Wow. I mean, those are some big numbers that we are talking about, Eric.
Absolutely.
And I mean, so if people are making decisions based on what their statement says, they are making a decision on a lower number, really, than what they'll actually receive.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that's why this mistake is so dangerous, because most people don't think long term. Most people think about, hey, what can I get right now? And those numbers I just shared with you, they don't even include the 8% increase in Social Security benefits that one would receive if you delay it past your full retirement age, say age 67, and maybe to age 70. If you delay it and don't take it out, not only do you have the cost of living increases that are going to be helping you, you got that 8% annual increase in delaying your benefit all the way out to age 70 as well. So the numbers could be really big.
Wow. I mean, this is why I think it's so important for people to have a plan set in place and also work with a financial advisor and work with your team to create this plan, because this can be a lot of money lost and a lot of money spent, and you really don't want that. And so, this can result in big increases in the Social Security paychecks for a lot of individuals.
Yeah, absolutely. If they have patience, unless someone just really has a really short life expectancy, or maybe they just need the income, right? Taking Social Security at 62 will leave a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. So the bottom line here is, if we ignore the COLA, we underestimate Social Security's true value, right, Eric?
You got it, Jaclyn. So COLA is probably one of the most powerful financial levers that retirees have, and most people don't even realize it. So, let's make sure that when you're planning your Social Security, that you take into consideration. It's not so simple, just, basically taking a yellow pad and trying to figure out when the break-even point and things of that nature. So we actually will use software in our firm to help people make wise decisions. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But let's dive into mistake number 2. And mistake number 2, Jaclyn, and for our listeners out there, is not understanding all of the eligible benefits. It's easy for me to say, eligible benefits that are available to retirees. Most retirees think about their own Social Security benefit, but Social Security offers a lot of other benefits as well. For example, disability benefits. Unfortunately, if you qualify for disability, you can be younger than age 62 and receive what they call your FRA, or your full 100% Social Security benefit. So you've got that. You've also got spousal benefits. This was created, for folks that maybe have a stay-at-home parent that takes care of children and doesn't really have a large benefit record. So if their benefit, spouse's benefit, is less than 50% of their working spouse's benefit, they can actually draw off their higher number off of their 50% spousal benefit. So that's another one. In addition to that, there's benefits for children. I mean, if you're eligible and you're drawing Social Security and you have a child or children under age 18, there's additional benefits that you can collect there as well. And of course, we all know there are survivor benefits with Social Security. Unfortunately, when we lose a spouse, we lose one of the Social Security benefits. We get the spouse that survives gets to keep the larger of the two. And then, of course, there's also divorce benefits. If someone was married long enough, they've married at least 10 years, and basically at least age 62, as far as your ex-spouse is concerned, you can draw off your ex-spouse's benefit record if it behooves you. If it's higher than your benefit, you can actually take a divorcee or an ex-spouse's benefit instead of your own.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I didn't even think about divorcee, benefits. That's just not something that typically people get, right? When you divorce, it's kind of you're done. But that's great to know. And I mean, the survivor benefit always surprises people, and especially me as well, because when you explain how much income is lost when one spouse passes away, I mean, that's a huge difference.
It really is, and that's something that when you're creating that comprehensive plan, that ETS retirement ready plan that we call in our office, we talked about last episode. It's extremely important to take into consideration, that lost income and having a strategy to replace that lost income. We may talk about this on another episode, but once Social Security basically goes insolvent, everybody who receives benefits, your benefit will be cut. It's already baked into the law. If they don't make changes, everybody's benefit will be cut by 25%. So if that's a concern, you might want to plan for a little bit more, maybe sure thing income for your retirement, to kind of take into consideration that cut could come into the future if we run into more problems with Social Security. But to stay on track, let me just share a little mini story with you here. So let's say a couple that both are retired, they're taking Social Security, and both of their benefits are basically $2,000 a month. So they got $4,000 a month coming in. The good Lord calls one of them, one spouse passes away, and so one check is gone. Okay. So in this example, the survivor's benefit drops basically by 50%, right? They lose $2,000 a month and they keep $2,000 a month. Now imagine, instead of basically, taking the benefits at the same time and not delaying one, let's say one spouse does delay their benefit and it grows their benefit to $3,000 a month. Well, if that spouse passes first, the survivor now is going to get the $3,000, the larger of the two, not the $2,000. So that's a 50% increase versus if one spouse didn't delay and grow their benefit. So one simple change by delaying a benefit can really help the financial security of a surviving spouse.
Wow. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And so, kind of, I mean, tag teaming it in a way with your spouse. And so, instead of saying, just talking about me and my benefit, we're kind of transitioning to what protects my spouse if I go first or if they go first, and kind of, again, tag teaming and using both as a team effort.
100%. So Social Security is not, when you start planning for Social Security, it's not an individual sport. Obviously, if you're married, it is a team sport for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Eric, when you speak of delaying a Social Security benefit, to a survivor, are there any rules or guidelines that people should follow or no?
There's tons of them. We don't have time to go over all of them on this podcast, obviously. But one simple rule, which it really should be obvious, but it needs to be said anyway, it's whoever has that higher benefit. If you're thinking about delaying one of them, it's wise to delay that one, because obviously the survivor is going to get the larger of the two. So if whoever has a bigger benefit and you're thinking about spousal and survivor benefits, delay the larger benefit amount.
Okay, that can be simple enough when you put it in that term. But Eric, in this conversation, I mean, and this is a conversation that your team at ETS Wealth Management, you guys help with this and help couples navigate, correct?
100%. So obviously that's part of our process. We always make sure that we run a Social Security maximization report. We have very sophisticated software that really makes the decision not only when to file, but how to structure and coordinate your benefits really, really easy. So for those of y'all who are not on watching this on YouTube, I'm actually pulling out a visual here. I've got my easy button.
That was easy.
And we're going to hit the easy button for you. So that Social Security maximization report really makes it simple in terms of when to time it, when to turn it on, and how to coordinate those benefits as well.
Yes. Well, that's amazing. So, Eric, to kind of keep our conversation going here, what is the third mistake that our listeners and viewers should be aware of?
Yeah, this is a great one. So, everybody likes to save taxes, right? Nobody likes to pay more than their fair share of taxes. So,
Yes.
Mistake number 3 is really ignoring the Social Security, using that in your tax strategies. So, here's the big shocker. Most retirees pay more tax over their lifetimes by not simply coordinating their Social Security income with their other income sources, such as their traditional IRAs, 401ks, and 403bs. So what you've got to understand is that Social Security is taxed quite differently than from other qualified accounts, like those IRAs, traditional 401ks, 403bs. So distributions, as we all realize, from those type of accounts are 100% taxed at federal and state tax level, and that's ordinary income. Obviously, that's not capital gains, preferred capital gains tax treatment. So when you have that situation, obviously, and you have some choices, obviously you want to make the decisions to take the benefits that are going to provide you the most bang for your buck as it relates to tax efficiency. So again, distributions from qualified plans are taxed 100% at the state and the federal level.
Okay, that makes sense. And so I understand that. But what about Social Security income that is taxed at the federal government level?
Right. So it depends if it's going to be taxed. So the answer is maybe. So it depends on how much income that you make, which will determine how much taxes you're going to pay on your Social Security. So even if you make $1 million a year, okay, it's going to be taxed, but it's only going to be partially taxed federally. So it doesn't matter how much money you make. There are certain thresholds where you can pay less on Social Security taxation based upon your income. But again, even if you make $1 million a year, all of your benefit will not be taxed federally.
Okay, got it. So how about state tax? I mean, is Social Security taxed by the states then?
Yep. It just depends on where you live. There's actually 37 states out there that do not tax Social Security benefits. And, thankfully for our client family here in Georgia, Georgia does not tax Social Security benefits at all. So instead of, say, a strategy we can talk about. And so instead of, say, taking your tax advantage Social Security benefits early and then letting your qualified benefits like your 401ks, qualified IRAs, things of that nature, 403bs, continue to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger, until you have to take those funds out at your what they call required minimum distribution, your RMD age at either 73 or 75. Maybe consider flipping this approach, right? Start drawing down from your traditional accounts a little earlier to reduce those account balances over time, which will also reduce those future required minimum distributions. And at the same time, consider maybe delay claiming your Social Security, which is taxed more favorably. And by coordinating these two moves can significantly reduce your total taxes over your retirement lifetime. And remember, one of the most tax advantaged income streams that you have when it comes to retirement income is Social Security. Save the Roth IRA. Obviously, that's why we really encourage people to, as they're getting to retirement and even in retirement, to create as many tax advantage buckets and tax-free buckets as actually possible.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Eric, I appreciate you giving, me some insights on how to approach this and some real life examples, really. And so, I mean, this will help people keep more of their money throughout their retirement, right?
You betcha. In fact, a lot. This is kind of crazy but true when you think about it. You can actually save more money, or even you want to call it make more money by saving taxes than you can by, say, increasing your investment returns. And you
Hmm.
may say, well, how could that be? Well, because every dollar that you save in taxes, you get to keep 100% of that dollar, right? 100
Yeah.
cent dollars. Well, every time you earn a return, you earn an extra dollar in your investment accounts, you only get to keep part of it, right? Because your least favorite uncle is going to get a portion of that.
Yes. Yes, and we want to prevent that as much as we possibly can. And, we wanna make sure that our money is coming back to us, that we worked so hard for.
Yeah,
So, Eric.
there's nothing wrong with paying taxes, right? We all got to pay our fair share of taxes. That's
Mhm,
the goose that lays the golden egg for
mhm.
being able to live in the greatest country in the world. We just don't want to pay more than our fair share.
Yes. Amen to that. Well, Eric, can you kind of summarize all that we've talked about? I mean, we've hit 3 major, things to avoid, and so can you kinda summarize it for the listeners and viewers?
Absolutely. So again, don't forget to consider cost of living increases when you're doing your planning, and our software can take that into consideration for you. Don't forget to don't ignore the spousal and the survivor rules, and be aware there's other benefits out there other than just your benefit and your spouse's benefit that you could access from Social Security. And then, of course, don't forget to coordinate your benefits and when you're doing your planning to make sure that maybe you're maximizing that Social Security benefit that's taxed more favorably, and drawing down on some of those qualified accounts that are going to be taxed more heavily. And again, we talked about this last episode. Taxes are on sale right now, right? The Trump tax cuts are still
Mhm.
on sale, are still in place. So taxes are on sale right now. Who knows what taxes are going to be in 8-10 years down the road. So again, that's why we really focus on trying to create a tax efficient income stream for our client family members, as much as possible.
Yeah, making smart moves, absolutely. And Eric, what can we do next? What can our listeners and viewers do next with this information?
Yeah, so when it comes to Social Security, most people don't realize that Social Security Administration will not and does not give you advice. Okay, so you get really one chance to make a decision on when to pull that trigger for your Social Security benefit, and you've got really one decision, and you have 1 year before it's done. Right, you can't make
Mhm.
any changes. If you get 6 months down the road, you pulled your Social Security benefit, and you said, you know what, that probably was not the best and the wisest choice for me. You can go back to Social Security, paying back all the money, and have a do over. Okay,
Mhm.
but once you get past that 1 year and 1 day, that is stuck for the rest of your life, and you cannot change it. So that's why it's important to wherever you go, even if you're not working with us, if you're working with another fiduciary advisor out there, make sure that you have a comprehensive Social Security maximization report ran, so you can make sure you're making the best choices on that Social Security benefit that you paid into your entire working career.
Yeah, and that seems like a great opportunity. And so, if someone listening wants that analysis or to do that report, what is the next step? What are the best places to start?
Yeah, so I mean, the easiest, they can go to our website and request a complimentary consultation, request that Social Security maximization report. If they come in for their complimentary consultation, we'll actually run one for them then. They can attend one of our upcoming educational workshops that we teach throughout the communities as well. So lots of ways to get that information. But if someone just says, you know what, I just want to kind of cut to the chase, I want to sit down with a competent fiduciary advisor and get a plan, either get a second opinion on my current plan, or create a plan, because I haven't created one, just simply call the office. We're here to help. We're here to serve this community in any and every way we can.
And so, what is the office number and your website?
Sure. The website is etswealth.com, etswealth.com. And our office number is 770-904-1978. They can also send an email to info@etswealth.com. That's info@etswealth.com. And also request that complimentary consultation as well.
Amazing, Eric. Well, this has been a fantastic episode. And to our listeners and viewers, please check out our Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon, as well as check us out on YouTube now. You can see our beautiful faces while we're laughing and talking with each other. And you can also see the pink and all the things that Eric is showing you on screen. So tune in every week for our YouTube podcast. And we're here to help you retire strong and stay strong. And so thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. God bless y'all. God bless America. Thanks, Jaclyn.